Yellow Productions presents Help Me Plan My Swiss Vacation. Today is Monday, May 8th, 2017, and in this live stream, Topher and I are seeking your help for our upcoming Switzerland vacation. I've got my itinerary right here. It's all printed out. I've got my pen, and I'm looking for your tips on where we should go, what we should do, what we should eat. And if you give a good idea and a comment, your idea might be featured in the next Yellow Productions video. So, Brandon Torres on YouTube, welcome, hi, thanks for joining us. Aw Clement, is that how I say your name? Aw Clement. And Hansel Ying says hi, so thanks everybody for joining. If you're new to these live streams, I do these live streams Monday nights about 8:30. My last live stream was on why United Airlines is lame. 13 reasons, as a matter of fact. You can find the link to that in the description below in case you missed it. And my next live stream, well, because I'm going to Switzerland and I've got some upcoming travel, it might be a few weeks before my next live stream, so follow me on Facebook. I've got a link in the description below for my Facebook page. Follow me there and you'll find out the announcement to the next live stream. I'll also post some pictures from Switzerland when I'm there on Facebook, so you can catch those there. Rowie A, hi, great to see you again. Thanks for joining. And Clement, hello from Singapore. Hello, thanks for joining all the way from the other side of the world, from Southern California, which is where I am right now, in a fabulous Residence Inn. So my pen is actually a Marriott Residence Inn pen to take these notes. And so Will Brenton says, go up that old train thingy. Will, which train thingy? Brandon says, stay at Geneva. Okay, well, so Brandon, you know, we haven't planned to go to Geneva, but let me tell you where we are planning to go, because we've sort of booked hotels in some places. We're going to spend 3 days in Zurich, 2 days in the Berner Oberland, which I guess is the mountain region near there, and then 2 days in Lucerne. So we have a total of a week in Switzerland, and that's what we've booked for notional hotels. So Geneva just kind of looked like it was on the other end of Switzerland from kind of that region. So that's kind of where we're going. Rowie A says, I visited Lucerne, beautiful town. You need to catch the train up to Mount Pilatus. Rowie A, that's excellent. Lucerne's one of the places we're going. So what did you like best in Lucerne? And I've read that that train to Mount Pilatus, it's like a cogwheel train and then a cable car that comes down. Did that take you a whole day, or did that take you just a part of the day? I am interested in doing that. And Hansel Ying asks on YouTube, what about the mountains? The Berner Oberland are the mountains, and so we're going to be staying there to hopefully do some mountain stuff there in the middle. Damon Langley on YouTube says, I went when I was 5 and we went to the Evian factory. That was pretty cool, maybe. That sounds pretty cool, Damon. Where is the Evian factory? And I'm not drinking Evian today, but last week I was drinking some lemonade. Today I'm also drinking lemonade. This lemonade is a watermelon rosemary lemonade, which is quite refreshing for when I'm talking for a long time. So some of the things that we're thinking of doing in Zurich, and I kind of want to put this out there, and maybe you guys can respond if you've been to any of these things. And if you're watching the archive stream, then let me know as well, because it'll be a few weeks before we actually go to Switzerland, so you've got plenty of time to let me know what's cool and see. And like I say, when I do the videos afterwards, if you told me to go to that place, I'll give you a shout out on the videos when we come back. Rowie A says, for the Mount Pilatus train in Lucerne, he did a half day, though you could spend more time there. It's very beautiful. All right, that's cool, a half day. Thank you very much, Rowie A. I appreciate the tip. So our first stop's going to be in Zurich, and we just sort of picked that because Zurich is the city that's like close to the international airport. And actually, the kind of the impetus for taking this trip was I was looking for reward flights using my United miles, and there's a Swiss Airlines flies LAX to Zurich, and they had business class seats available on award tickets, so we went ahead and booked it, and that goes to Zurich, and so that's where we start. I've heard a lot of people say that Zurich is a place to avoid, or it's just a city of banks, that it isn't that interesting, and so I'm curious if any of you have been to Zurich, if you think there's any interesting things to see in Zurich. A couple of things that at least I picked up as highlights that I think we might go see. There's a district called the NeiderDorf. Has anybody been to the NeiderDorf? Rick Steves, who in my thumbnail picture, it's a Rick Steves book. Rick Steves says that NeiderDorf is a district of colorful streets, shopping, and nightlife. There's the Fraumunster Church, which is apparently a church with some famous windows. Rick Steves recommends the Swiss National Museum, and Brandon Torres says National Museum, so this is perfect timing. Brandon, tell me, what do you think was interesting about the Swiss National Museum, other than it is their national museum? Is it modern art, contemporary art, historical art, statues, paintings, sculptures, kind of all that stuff? And if we go there, how long do you think we should spend at the Swiss National Museum? We are getting the 8-day Swiss travel pass, so that includes the trains and I think a lot of admission to these various attractions. So I think the price to those isn't a huge deal. Clement on YouTube says, hop on a boat at Limmat. Wow, my Swiss or German, I probably need to work on that to offer a different view of the city of Zurich. Okay, Clement, we'll take a look for that boat. And so that was actually my question after the Swiss National Museum. Boat ride on Limmat River or Lake Zurich? So, Clement, is that a boat that goes on the river or the lake? Because I've read some people saying take a ride on the river, and I've read some other people saying take a ride on the lake. I do have to be careful with Topher, though. He does get seasick. I'll make sure he takes his Dramamine before we go on those boat rides. So the other thing I'd be curious for those of you who have been to Switzerland is what's good to eat in Switzerland? We've been trying to look at what tasty and delicious food items are, and as far as I can tell, it's like dipping meat in cheese, and so I'm just wondering if there are other things that we should eat in Switzerland. I read that there's a Manora cafeteria in the Manor department store on their main street in front of the train station. Has a cheap eat place, and for those of you who watch my videos a lot, you know I like cheap eats. I also like good eats too. Damon Langley on YouTube says, if you're heading to Vevey, though, you can do a tour of the Nestle headquarters. It's kind of like Wonka, but with a little less mystery. Hey, I like Willy Wonka, and a chocolate factory might be interesting. I'm not sure if we are going to Vevey, though. I'll have to look on a map and see where Vevey is. Damon, how far was Vevey from Zurich, Berner Oberland, or Lucerne? Jackie Chang asks, are there any Hyatt hotels on the list? We will not be staying at any Hyatts on this trip. Marriott in Zurich, Renaissance in Lucerne, and then in the Berner Oberland, we're going to be staying in a mountain town called Wingen, which is like a car-free town, and that one we're staying in kind of a very Swiss hotel, family-owned hotel. Hansel says, you can take the bus around the city. Hansel, is that Zurich? And if so, what should I see on the bus? Is there a particular bus I should take? Jake McShane says, maybe you should eat some cheese. Swiss cheese is famous worldwide. Jake, we will definitely, I think, eat some cheese. And it's kind of interesting, there's Swiss cheese, but I wonder if that's different varieties, if there's a particular place we should go for cheese. So, Jake, if you've been there, let me know where we should go to get the best cheese. I'm curious. I've seen in some of the travel guides when people go to the mountain towns that they go to these little huts that basically are like a cheese shop in the mountains, and you can go and buy their cheese. Though it doesn't look like Swiss cheese with holes per se, but it does look like some interesting family-owned, run cheese shops. So, Jackie Chang asks if I can sing the Yellow Productions intro real quick. And it's been missing in my recent videos. Well, Jackie, the good news is a lot of my next videos that are coming up, I've got a couple on Tokyo, how to ride the trains in Tokyo. I've got the video review of the Tokyo Station Hotel and a whole series on Los Angeles, and I've brought the intro back. And it's hard to sing it because it's like me 3 times going the ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba, and then like a Yellow Productions presents, and those 2 things go at the same time. So that is hard for me to do at the same time without the aid of fancy computer technology. Mark Perez just joined from Monterey, California. Mark, thanks for joining. Brandon says, yum, cheese and chocolate. So I've also heard that Swiss chocolate is definitely famous. If anybody has any ideas, certainly there was a Nestle factory, but if there's any good places we should go to buy chocolate, good chocolates to buy, types of chocolates to buy, I would be interested in that as well. You're welcome, Jackie, and I'm glad that I've answered your questions. If you have any more, certainly let me know. So, the 3 nights that we're going to be in Zurich, one of the things that we also want to do is we want to visit a hot spring. And Clement asked, which city will you be visiting in Switzerland? And so we've got 3 nights planned in Zurich, 2 nights in Wingen, which is in the Berner Oberland, and then 2 nights in Lucerne. So a total of 7 nights. And at the 3 nights in Zurich, kind of trying to figure out what to do with those 3 days or 3 nights. We were going to maybe think of one to visit a Swiss hot spring. If you've watched my Japan videos, you'll know that we have a lot of videos on Japanese hot springs, and so we were very interested in checking out some of the Swiss hot springs. I've heard there's like a hot spring town that's maybe 50 minutes outside of Zurich called, oh gosh, what was the name of it? And of course, it's not written on my agenda yet. It's called, I think Bad Zurzach. And then there's also some hot spring kind of like spas in the city center of Zurich. And I was interested if anybody's been to those hot springs. If so, which one they would recommend. So we were planning on taking a day trip to Bern from Zurich since we got the Swiss travel pass that offers basically unlimited train travel. So we figure we can take that hour train ride from Zurich to Bern and spend a day in Bern. Bern, as I understand it, is the capital of Switzerland, a real historic town. I understand that Bern is also Albert Einstein lived in Bern, and there's like an Einstein Museum, and Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity while living in Bern from 1903 to 1905. So I'm curious if anybody has visited Bern, what they recommend in Bern. There's also like a bear park in Bern. Apparently the symbol of either Bern or Switzerland is the bear, and so they have a park with these bears that you can see. The other ones I kind of wonder about, there's a couple museums that are highly rated in Bern. There's the Museum of Fine Arts, and there's the Paul Klee Center. Not sure if those are worth a visit. If anybody's been there, I would love to hear for it. One of the things that is super popular in Bern that I don't think we're going to do is the Berner Swim. And apparently in the summer, a lot of the Swiss folks hop in this river and go for a swim down the river. Well, when we're going, it's going to be probably not as hot or warm as we might want it. And so I'm not sure we'll do the swim. So then after we finish our time in Zurich, we're going to go to the Berner Oberland, which is kind of the mountain region. We're taking the train to Wingen, which is where we're staying. And so there's a couple of train rides that are in that area. And somebody said, take the old train. Will Brenton, if you're still watching, the old train thingy, do you mean the Jungfraubahn? So apparently there's a train that'll take you up to an 11,333 foot peak with an observation deck with restaurants, though the train ride is 170 Swiss francs. I'm interested in doing that and also taking the Schlitthornbahn cable car, which goes up to a second peak, 9,748 feet, and the Schlitthorn, that peak, has apparently been featured in some various James Bond movies, so I'm excited to do some 007 stuff. So each of those, like I've heard, takes a day or half a day. Will says he thinks that's the train, so we'll hopefully we'll definitely do at least one, maybe two of those if we have the time. Just trying to figure out which one, if we only had one, that we could do. Clement says, how about Burns Bear Park? I don't know, Clement, how about Burns Bear Park? Is Burns Bear Park worth a visit? If you think so, I will totally check it out then. So the other thing that is, I think, interesting in the Berner Oberland is called the Trummelbach Falls. And I think it's like the world's largest waterfall that's like inside caves or inside a mountain. Apparently you go into these caves and there's like elevators that you can go and see this waterfall. I've seen videos of it. It looks pretty amazing. I haven't quite figured out how to get there, but that sounds kind of like a cool natural phenomenon. Hansel Ying on YouTube asks, can you show the different transport? I will absolutely show the different transport. That's a good request. So I'll definitely take some shots of the trains and the cable cars and the mountain trains, because I think that's probably half the fun of going around there. Okay, so I have the question of what to eat in those places, because I've heard there's not much to eat in those mountain areas. People say that you can take the train to the cable car up to the top and have lunch at the top of those mountains, though I wonder if it's good or if it's too expensive. And then there's a town called Interlaken. And Interlaken, you have to like take the train through there to go to this mountain region. And I was curious if there's anything worthwhile seeing in Interlaken, or if we just pass through on our way to the mountains. After 2 days in the mountain area, or 2 nights in the mountain area, then we're going to take the train to Lucerne. And the couple of the things that I've heard are cool in Lucerne are strolling along the, I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong, but strolling along the Reuss River. There's a lion monument in Lucerne, which is like some famous lion statue that's carved in a hill. And something I read said you have to go see the lion statue, because if you don't, everybody's going to ask you if you've seen the lion statue. So for those of you who have been to Lucerne, is the lion statue worth seeing? So a question from OC Girl that I'm going to pose to all of you is, what would be a good Swiss souvenir? If we're going to Switzerland, what kind of things should we bring back besides cheese and chocolate? So Jake McShane says, I found Zurich very uninteresting overall, but the old town is worth walking around. And Jake also says Lucerne is much better. The Weeping Lion is indeed worth visiting. Jake, that's very cool. Thank you for the tips on those things. I will put a double star on the lion monument as confirmed as being worth seeing, and the old town in Zurich. Old town. Jake McShane says, for souvenirs, get a Swiss Army knife. Hey, that makes a lot of sense, and we will check out the Swiss Army knives. Hansel Ying recommends buy a buddy for the cute little panda. So Hansel, what sort of buddies do you think would be good from Switzerland? Topher the panda comes from the San Diego Zoo. The San Diego Zoo is famous for pandas. I'm curious what animal Switzerland is famous for. I've heard people tell me that their cows are very good looking, which is an interesting thing to say about cows. I've heard the cows kind of have the bells, like they walk around with the bells. We've seen those when we went to Germany in the countryside, and thought a whole field of cows wearing bells is kind of a neat thing. Okay, back to my second page again. Okay, so after the lion monument, the other question I have in Lucerne, I read there's this thing called the Bourbaki Panorama, which is like a 360-degree painting. Has anybody visited the Bourbaki Panorama, and is that worth seeing? And then also, there's like a Lake Lucerne. Is it worthwhile to take a boat ride on that lake? I've seen a lot of people say, hey, explore the lake, and I'm not sure if that's by foot or by car or by boat, but I've seen there are boat rides. And also I've read that there are hot springs in Lucerne, and so I was curious if anybody's been to any of the hot springs in Lucerne. And then kind of the final thing in Lucerne, and it's another train thing, there's a train in Lucerne up to Mount Pilatus, and there was somebody who recommended Mount Pilatus. Rowie A recommended Mount Pilatus. And so Rowie A, I was curious, did you do Mount Pilatus and the Schlitthorn and the Jungfrau? And if so, would you do all three? Or would you do just one? For anybody else have been to either of those places, Lucerne and the Berner Oberland, is it worthwhile to go to all three of those peaks, Mount Pilatus, the Jungfrau, and the Schlitthorn? Jane McShane answered my lake question and said I should explore the lake in Lucerne by boat. So cool. We will do that. Take a boat. All right. That gets an extra star. And Clement says Utiliberi Mountain has a standing tower 2,858 meters above sea level that offers a view of Zurich. Clement, how do you get up there? Do you hike up there? Do you drive up there? Do you take a train? So I'm curious how you get up to that mountain. That seems like it could be a really big hike if that's what you were doing. Cool. Cicada says they love my hotel reviews. Never been, so can't help. Hey, it's cool. Cool, Cicada. But thanks for joining. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the feedback on the hotel reviews. Expect at least 3 more hotel reviews from Switzerland. And Jake says he meant the train to the top of Mount Pilatus. Yes, take the train to the top, not the tip. Right. I love autocorrect on spell check. And then the gondola down. Okay. Train up, gondola down. Check. Star. Brandon Torres says nice. All right. Well, so that's the end of the itinerary as I have it. And so for those of you who watched my travel planning live stream, I have one thing to add, which is a new thing that I'm doing for my travel planning that I didn't say I do, is these live streams. And I appreciate everybody's help. And I look forward to anybody's help who's watching this on the archive. Let me know where you think I should go. And like I say, I will feature your name and suggestion in the next live stream. Well, I think that is all I've got, except the final thing to say, if you don't follow me on Facebook, do follow me on Facebook. As I go to Switzerland, I'll be posting little clips and little pictures and things like that from Switzerland onto Facebook. Also, follow me on Facebook to find out when the next live stream will be. It will not be next Monday, so don't wait for me next Monday for live stream. It'll be a little while from now. And Hansel says you're most welcome, so thank you very much. Rick B, thanks. Always interesting. Thank you for joining. And Clement just asked the question of when the next live stream will be. I haven't planned it yet because I've got quite a bit of travel coming up. So follow me on Facebook. I'll announce when the next live stream is on Facebook. And also, Brandon says he loves the Facebook picture of the day. I'm posting a picture of the day to Facebook from various travels and places that I go and places that I've been. I'm not necessarily posting pictures when I'm currently at a place. So today I posted a picture of Taipei 101. I'm currently not in Taipei, but I'm going back to my archive of cool pictures and posting those up. All right, so with that, I will wish everybody great day, and have a great rest of your travels. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the help on going to Switzerland. You helped us plan our vacation. Clement had a final question. Will you be visiting other countries? And on this trip, we are just going to Switzerland. 1 week is what we got on the flights. So, bye Mark Perez, bye Clement, and over and out, everybody.